You won't believe what just surfaced online leaked messages between the people behind. Foolio's tragic death are turning the whole story upside down. Fans, street followers, and even rival crews are in shock as screenshots claiming to show private conversations between Foolio's female killer and her accomplice hit social media. The screenshots are messy, dramatic, and full of explosive claims that nobody saw coming. Emotions ran high as people started dissecting every word, trying to figure out who really planned what, and why things went so wrong that night. According to the leaks, it's not as simple as anyone thought. Some messages hint at betrayal, second-guessing, and even fears that one of them might spill everything to the cops. Other lines suggest jealousy and personal grudges that went way beyond any street beef, making fans question everything they thought they knew about Foolio's death. The internet can't stop replaying certain messages, especially one where the female killer allegedly says, "I can't believe we're even doing this. It ain't what I signed up for." Fans are speculating what exactly that means. Who might have coerced her into taking such drastic action? The chaos didn't stop there. Family members of the victims and suspects are reportedly left divided, and rumors are spreading like wildfire that some friends who were trusted may have secretly been feeding information to authorities. Street pages, blogs, and gossip accounts are blowing up, analyzing every screenshot, every timestamp, and every emoticon like it's a full-blown investigation. Fans are shocked. Street insiders are whispering, and everyone is asking the same question: how deep does this go? And could these leaked messages change the entire story behind Foolio's death? Trust me, once you start reading these messages, you're going to see the whole situation in a completely different light. And the drama is far from over. The night the messages leaked, nobody could have predicted the chaos that would follow. It started with a simple post on a small gossip page, screenshots of conversations between Foolio's female killer and her accomplice. The captions were vague but intense. They're talking, and everything changes. Within minutes, screenshots were reposted across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans stopped scrolling. Street's pages went silent for a moment, and the rumor mill began to spin out of control. According to what people could see in the leaked messages, the female killer wasn't acting alone. Her accomplice, whose identity has been debated, appeared to be coordinating every step, giving instructions, and at times even questioning her actions. One line sent shivers down everyone's spine. "You sure you can do this? Once it's done, there's no turning back." The tone was cold, calculating. Yet the response showed hesitation. "I don't like it, but we gotta." Fans immediately started theorizing what that "we gotta" meant. Some believed it was purely about the robbery gone wrong that led to Foolio's death, while others argued it suggested a deeper personal motive, one that fans hadn't seen before. The timing of the messages, some dating back weeks before the incident, hinted that everything might have been planned far longer than anyone thought. People were shocked to see phrases like, "Make sure nobody sees us together," and "If anyone talks, we're done for," revealing a level of premeditation that changed the narrative completely as the screenshots circulated. Reactions were intense. Some fans expressed disbelief that the female killer, who had a reputation for keeping her personal life private, could be involved so directly. Others started digging into her past, looking for clues about why she might have gone down this path. Social media erupted with threads analyzing every word, timestamp, and emoji, trying to decode the hidden messages. One post even highlighted a line where she allegedly wrote, "I didn't sign up for this life, but they left me no choice," sparking debates about coercion, loyalty, and survival in the streets. The accomplice's messages were even more chilling. He seemed confident, almost proud, in a way that disturbed fans. Lines like "We move when we move," "No second chances," and "Don't worry about feelings," Focus on the Job painted a picture of someone who had fully committed to the act and wasn't thinking about consequences. The dynamic between the two killers was unsettling. One hesitant, the other pushing, creating tension that fans immediately picked up on. It was like watching a crime drama unfold in real time. What made the leaks even more explosive was the hint of betrayal. At one point, the female killer supposedly questioned whether her accomplice was planning to take all the blame on her, writing, "So if this goes south, it's just me." Fans interpreted this as an indication that there might have been internal conflict long before the crime was committed. The idea that one of them might have been manipulating the other sent shockwaves through the community. Comment sections filled with theories, from "she's being played" to "he's the real mastermind." And every post seemed to fuel more speculation than the last. The drama wasn't limited to online reactions. Sources claim that family members of both killers and Foolio himself were left divided after the leaks. One insider told a street blog, "The family was torn." Some believed she was innocent, forced into this. Others said she should have thought twice before getting involved. The same source added that the accomplice's relatives were equally shocked, questioning whether they really knew him at all. Emotions ran high, and even people who didn't know the parties personally felt the intensity of the situation. And, just when fans thought they had a grasp of the story, the messages revealed an unexpected twist: jealousy and personal grudges. Certain lines suggested that the female killer may have had motivations tied not just to the crime itself, but also to feelings of betrayal in her personal life. She allegedly texted, "He didn't keep his word, so why should I?" While the accomplice replied, "It's bigger than us now. Don't make it personal." Fans were shocked. Suddenly, what looked like a simple street crime started to feel more like a tangled web of relationships, resentment, and manipulation. The leaked messages also hinted at outside influence. At one point, the female killer wrote about someone giving her instructions indirectly. Mentioning a name fans immediately began speculating about. "I didn't know he'd be involved like this," she allegedly said. The internet exploded with guesses, some accusing known rivals in her circle, others pointing to unknown figures entirely. It wasn't just a story about two killers anymore. The narrative now included shadowy figures, potentially orchestrating events behind the scenes. Fans began creating timelines, piecing together the sequence of messages. It became apparent that weeks before Foolio's death, tension had been building. One early message read, "We need to settle this before anyone else gets hurt," suggesting foreknowledge that made some fans reconsider whether the incident was impulsive or carefully planned. Every screenshot became a clue, every line a possible motive. Discussion threads were endless, some analyzing word choice, others reading between the lines for hidden meanings. The leaks also ignited debates about accountability. Some argued that the female killer was coerced and deserved sympathy, pointing to her messages showing doubt and regret. Others said both parties were equally responsible and that the remorse shown in texts didn't erase the crime. The split in opinion mirrored the split in the streets, with some friends and supporters defending her publicly, while others distanced themselves entirely as the night wore on. Further messages surfaced showing fear and paranoia. One exchange allegedly had the female killer asking, "Are they watching us?" "I feel like we're being followed," the accomplice replied. "Keep it cool. Nobody's paying attention if we act normal." Fans immediately linked this to police investigations, surveillance, rumors, and even rival gang activity. The tension, uncertainty, and stakes made the story feel like a real-life thriller. And the fact that it came from their private chats made it all the more shocking. And just when it seemed like the leaks had revealed everything, a final screenshot from the first night of the conversation sent fans into overdrive. The female killer allegedly wrote, "If this goes down, the truth will come out, and nobody will be ready." People interpreted this as a direct foreshadowing of even more secrets yet to be revealed, sparking speculation about what might come next: recordings, confessions, or even more shocking evidence. Hashtags like hashtag #FoolIO message, leak, and hashtag #WhoPlannedThis began trending. As fans and street followers debated what the future of this story might hold, the narrative was no longer just about Foolio's death. It had grown into a complex saga involving manipulation, loyalty, fear, and betrayal. Every fan, street insider, and blogger seemed to have a new theory, and no one could agree on the truth. One thing was clear: these leaked messages had changed everything. The story that fans thought they knew was unraveling, and the drama was only beginning. The tension in the streets mirrored the online chaos. Local spots where people gathered to discuss music. By the end of the night, the leaked messages had already done what no one expected. They turned a story that once seemed black and white into a full-blown, multi-layered drama, leaving fans shocked, the family divided, and the streets buzzing with speculation. The internet was alive with theories, debates, and endless questions, and one thing was certain: the world had never seen anything like this around Foolio's death before. And just when people thought the night couldn't get any crazier, a new screenshot appeared online with a timestamp from the same day of the crime, hinting at a detail nobody had noticed before. The game was far from over, and the story was only getting darker and more complicated. The drama wasn't just unfolding, it was exploding as the sun rose the morning after the leaks. The internet was still in absolute chaos. The new screenshot that had appeared late last night hinted at something that nobody had seen coming. The female killer and her accomplice weren't just talking about the night of Foolio's death, they were planning something far bigger. One line in particular caught fire: "This ain't over, not by a long shot." Fans immediately speculated that there were other schemes or crimes in play, and the tension in the comments exploded. Conspiracy theories ran wild, with some people suggesting there was an entire network involved, pulling strings behind the scenes. Insiders claimed the female killer's tone in these messages was shifting. Where before she seemed hesitant, now she appeared more calculating, almost cold. In one exchange, she allegedly texted, "We gotta make sure nobody snitches. Nobody remembers wrong." The accomplice replied, "Already handled. Just follow the plan." The back and forth revealed a side of her that few had ever seen, leaving fans conflicted. Some saw a victim trapped in circumstance, while others argued she had crossed a line and embraced the darkness willingly. The messages also revealed personal grudges that nobody expected. The female killer reportedly referenced a past betrayal by someone close to her, writing, "They promised loyalty, but it was lies." The accomplice responded, "That's why we do it ourselves, no outside help." Fans were stunned. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about a crime, it was about revenge, betrayal, and settling old scores. Threads on Reddit and Twitter lit up with people dissecting every word, trying to match the messages to known conflicts and rumors in their circles. Further messages added another layer of intrigue. Timestamps suggested that on the night of the crime, the female killer had second thoughts. One text allegedly read, "I can't believe I'm doing this. Can we still back out?" The accomplice's response was blunt: "Too late, we move now or risk everything." Fans immediately interpreted this as a psychological game, a moment where fear, coercion, and loyalty collided. The tension in the streets and online grew almost unbearable as people debated whether she was being forced or willingly committing the act. As more messages surfaced, the drama intensified. In one exchange, she apparently discussed the aftermath, showing fear of being caught and paranoia about who could betray them. She texted, "I feel eyes on me everywhere, like someone's watching." The accomplice reassured her, "Stay calm. Nobody knows what we did but us. The leaked content painted a picture of constant anxiety, where both killers were on edge, suspicious of anyone around them. Fans were hooked, dissecting every line for clues about whether law enforcement or rival crews were already onto them. Even family members were pulled into the conversation. Some texts suggested that the female killer confided in someone close to her before the crime, asking, "Can you trust them?" While the accomplice warned, "Keep everyone in the dark. Don't let feelings get in the way." The drama escalated as insiders claimed that relatives were beginning to question what they knew about her life, her friends, and her decisions. The family was reportedly divided, with some expressing shock and disbelief, while others felt anger and betrayal, unexpectedly. Humor mixed with attention in a few messages, showing how human fear and bravado coexist. In one text, she joked, "If we get caught, at least I'll make headlines." The accomplice replied dryly, "Not funny. Just do your part." Fans were shocked to see this mixture of casual joking and cold calculation. It made the whole scenario feel real, messy, and impossible to predict. The leaked conversations had turned what was a tragic story into a living thriller, filled with emotional depth and unpredictable human behavior. The leaks also revealed something more sinister. The female killer and her accomplice appeared to be communicating with outside sources. Cryptic references suggested that others were involved in planning, watching, and even influencing their decisions. Phrases like "they'll handle it" and "the others are ready" sparked intense speculation online, with fans trying to identify who they were. Rumors immediately spread, linking these messages to rival crews' potential informants, and even unknown figures lurking behind the scenes. Every day, new screenshots added fuel to the fire, and the story grew more tangled by the hour. Meanwhile, social media blew up with reactions from fans, bloggers, and street pages. One viral tweet summed up the collective shock. "These messages just changed everything. We thought we knew about Foolio's death. It's bigger than we imagined." Threads dissected everything: timestamps, word choice, emojis, punctuation, and even the background of screenshots. The internet became a hive mind of speculation, constantly building on the last revelation, piecing together motives, timing, and the possible chain of events. The emotional stakes were also climbing. Fans started sympathizing with the female killer in some posts, citing the lines showing doubt and fear. "Look at what she said, she didn't want this," one user wrote. Another replied, "But she did it anyway. No excuses." The debates were endless, polarizing the fanbase and online followers. Some even argued that these leaks were proof that society and the streets push young people into impossible situations, while others insisted that accountability couldn't be ignored. The tension and discussion created a viral storm that dominated feeds for days. More drama unfolded as the leaked messages hinted at conflicts within their own crew. One text allegedly read, "They're plotting against us too. I can feel it," the accomplice responded. "We'll handle it before it handles us." Fans interpreted this as evidence of distrust and fear of betrayal at multiple levels. Suddenly, the narrative became multi-layered. It wasn't just a crime, it was a web of paranoia, internal conflict, and calculated decisions. The audience was captivated, dissecting every possible scenario, trying to figure out what would happen next. The messages even suggested that Foolio himself may have known or sensed something before the fatal night. A cryptic line supposedly written by the female killer read, "He had no idea what was coming, but I think he suspected." This revelation sent fans into overdrive. People began rewatching videos, analyzing old posts, and piecing together every detail about Foolio's last days. Suddenly, everything in the story, the timing, the actions, the interactions took on new meaning. And the tragedy became even more complex. As the leaks continued to circulate, a new twist emerged. One set of screenshots suggested that the female killer might have been considering turning on her accomplice. In one exchange, she allegedly wrote, "Maybe I tell them everything and get out clean." The accomplice responded sharply, "Don't even think about it, or it's over." Fans went wild with speculation. Was she planning a confession, or was it a threat? Did she actually mean it, or was it another psychological tactic? Every line added a layer of suspense, keeping people glued to their screens. Even street pages and blogs began theorizing about potential future consequences. Some believed the messages would eventually lead to new arrests or confessions. Others thought that the tension between the female killer and her accomplice might explode into further violence. Comment sections filled with predictions, fan theories, and hot takes, making the story feel alive, evolving in real time. Hashtags like #Foolio leak drama, #secret texts, and #who is the mastermind dominated social media for days. The leaked conversations also revealed moments of human emotion that shocked fans. Despite the cold planning, there were texts showing fear, regret, and even hints of guilt. "I can't sleep. I keep thinking about what we did," one message allegedly read. By the end of this wave of leaks, the narrative surrounding Foolio's death had completely transformed. It wasn't just a tragic incident anymore. It was a multi-layered story involving coercion, fear, betrayal, personal grudges, and potential outside influence. The leaked messages had shattered previous assumptions, leaving fans, families, and followers shocked, confused, and desperate for answers. Every revelation seemed to raise more questions than it answered. And the drama wasn't slowing down anytime soon, and just when people thought they had pieced it together. Insiders hinted at even more leaks waiting to surface: private conversations, voicemails, and even potential video evidence that could further alter the story. Fans and street followers held their breath, knowing that whatever came next could change everything again, keeping the saga alive and the speculation hotter than ever as the leaks continued to circulate. New revelations began surfacing that nobody could have predicted. Fans were glued to their screens as insider accounts claimed that the female killer had actually kept a secret from her accomplice, one that could completely change the story. In one of the alleged messages, she wrote, "I didn't tell him everything. He doesn't know who else is involved." The internet immediately exploded with speculation. Who was the else? Could there have been a third party orchestrating the entire plan? Someone pulling strings behind the scenes? Threads and forums lit up with people dissecting old videos, interviews, and social media posts to try to identify the hidden player. The tension between the two killers escalated in the leaked texts. While she appeared increasingly anxious and paranoid, the accomplice maintained a calculated calm. In one text, she allegedly wrote, "I feel like he's gonna turn on me any second," and he responded, "Trust me, I control this." Fans were stunned at the dynamic, a mixture of fear, manipulation, and power struggle, all unfolding in real time through messages. The psychological warfare between the two added a layer of complexity that made the story feel like a high-stakes crime thriller. Meanwhile, more details about their personal lives started leaking alongside the messages. The female killer's past relationships, family disputes, and personal grudges began to surface, giving fans a fuller picture of why she might have been drawn into this web. Messages revealed her bitterness toward former friends and rivals. Lines like, "They left me with no choice. I had to act." The accomplice seemed aware of these emotions, occasionally using them to push her forward. Don't let feelings get in the way. This is bigger than you. Fans debated endlessly whether she was truly acting under coercion or had embraced the situation voluntarily. The drama didn't stop with personal grudges. Leaked messages hinted at revenge plots that extended beyond Foolio's death. One line allegedly read, "We still got those who owe us," and we'll make them pay. This revelation sent the fanbase into a frenzy, as people speculated about potential hits, intimidation, or other violent acts that may have been planned. Social media exploded with speculation, fan theories, and even calls for law enforcement to step in, as the story now seemed to extend beyond a single tragic event into a full-blown criminal saga. As the leaks gained traction, reactions from the street community intensified. Insiders reported that some of the female killer's former allies had turned on her, worried about being implicated. The accomplice allegedly messaged, "We can't trust anyone anymore, even them," reinforcing the growing paranoia. Fans were fascinated by the real-time collapse of loyalty and trust, as the story evolved from a crime into a tense psychological battle. With every text hinting at betrayal and ulterior motives, emotions ran even higher when the leaked messages revealed the fear both killers had about legal consequences. One alleged text read, "If we get caught, everything we worked for is gone," followed by the accomplice's reply, "We move smart. Don't slip up." The fear of being discovered by law enforcement added yet another layer to the tension, with fans speculating about potential informants or surveillance that might have been in play. Some suggested that the authorities had already intercepted messages, while others believed rival crews might be monitoring them. Waiting for a misstep, a shocking revelation came when the female killer allegedly admitted to planning a way to frame her accomplice. She reportedly wrote, "Maybe if I leave a trail pointing to him, I stay clean." This bombshell sent fans into chaos, debating whether she truly intended to betray him or if it was a bluff to manipulate him. The accomplice's response was reportedly cold and dismissive. "Don't even think about it. We're in this together." The power struggle between them created an almost cinematic tension, one that kept fans analyzing every word for hidden clues. More leaked messages revealed personal regrets and fear of loss. The female killer allegedly wrote, "I can't believe I dragged him into this. What if something happens?" And the accomplice replied, "We made our choices, we face it together." Fans immediately latched onto these lines, debating whether they were genuine emotional confessions or part of a manipulation strategy. The human side of the killers added depth to the story, showing fear, guilt, and moral conflict amidst the calculated planning. The leaks also suggested that other influential figures in their circle might have known about the crime beforehand. Cryptic messages referenced unknown names and hinted at instructions or advice given prior to the incident. Fans speculated endlessly about these shadow players, linking them to known street figures, former collaborators, and even mysterious social media personalities. The idea that the crime might have been influenced by unseen forces made the story feel far more complex and dangerous. The online reaction was nothing short of explosive. Hashtags like #FoolioLeak, #SecretTexts, #Betrayal, and #SHADOWPLAYERS began trending across platforms. Forums, threads, and comment sections were filled with theories, speculation, and heated arguments. Fans debated whether the female killer was a victim, a mastermind, or a mix of both. The accomplice became a subject of intense scrutiny too, as people dissected his cold, calculated tone and apparent control over the situation. The story had transcended a simple crime and evolved into a multi-layered psychological drama. Suddenly, another set of messages leaked, this time showing the female killer questioning whether she could continue participating in the ongoing plans. Allegedly, she wrote, "I can't keep doing this. What if we get caught?" And the accomplice's reply was chilling, "There's no turning back now." Fans were stunned by the implication that the events might continue to unfold, that the drama wasn't over. Speculation ran rampant about potential future acts, new alliances, and what would happen if the tension between them reached a breaking point. The leaked messages also hinted at a surprising level of planning. Timestamps suggested that every action had been carefully orchestrated. From choosing locations to managing communications to even controlling who would know what. One text allegedly read, "We control the narrative, nobody else," implying a calculated strategy to stay ahead of rivals and law enforcement. Fans were fascinated by the level of detail, turning the story into what many described as a real-life thriller that had elements of crime, betrayal, and psychological warfare. Family reactions were intensifying as well. Insiders claimed that relatives of both killers were increasingly concerned, with some allegedly trying to intervene or negotiate peace. One leaked text showed the female killer writing about fear that her family would disown her if they find out everything. "They won't forgive me." The accomplice seemed dismissive, replying, "Family don't matter here, only survival." Fans were shocked at the cold calculation, the prioritization of self-preservation over kinship, and the way. As the leaks continued, the public began to see a pattern of control, fear, and power struggles that extended far beyond the original incident. The story had evolved into a complex narrative involving premeditation, betrayal, outside influence, and the inner turmoil of two individuals navigating extreme circumstances. Every leaked message became a clue, a hint, a new twist. And fans were desperate to piece together the full truth, just when it seemed like the story had reached its peak. Insiders hinted that even more sensitive material might be on the verge of leaking: audio recordings, video snippets, and even witness statements that could blow the entire narrative wide open. Fans were left waiting with bated breath, knowing that the next revelation could change everything yet again, and that the saga surrounding Foolio's death was far from over. The tension, the paranoia, and the drama were all escalating toward an unknown climax, keeping everyone hooked and glued to the unfolding story. As the leaks kept spreading, the story surrounding Foolio's death entered a level of chaos and unpredictability that nobody had expected. The latest screenshots suggested that the female killer had started questioning everything, not just her role in the crime, but the trustworthiness of her accomplice. One alleged text read, "What if he's playing me the whole time?" The accomplice's reply was as cold. The saga was far from over. Insiders hinted that even more explosive leaks were waiting to surface: audio recordings, private conversations, and video evidence that could rewrite the story entirely. Fans held their breath, knowing that the next revelations could change everything again. The tension, the drama, and the suspense were all building toward an uncertain climax, ensuring that the story surrounding Foolio's death would remain a hot topic for weeks, if not months. The online world watched closely, eager for the next twist in this ever-evolving thriller. So, what do you think about all of this shocking drama?